guest, and to all the participants. I, Rona Chakravarti, faculty, on behalf of Royal School of Pharmacy, extend my heartiest welcome to you all attending this webinar on the topic Influence of Binder on Tableting Properties. And to discuss the topic today, we have with us our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Saurav Gupta, Technical Business Development Manager, Pharma, India, Japan, and South Korea. Welcome, sir. This webinar has been organized by Royal School of Pharmacy, the Assam Royal Global University. Speaking about the university, the Assam Royal Global University stands among the finest universities of the country and is on the top as private university as ranked by Education World. The university is committed to provide unparalleled education to render holistic development of the students. It runs 27 schools and 134 plus programs in its campus. The highly qualified and well-experienced intellectual capital of RGU stands up as its strongest pillar with 250 plus faculties, who also serves as the motivational catalyst for 5,000 plus students. RGU strives for academic excellence through research-intensive and industry-oriented education instilled with a strong sense of becoming a global citizen. Now, without further ado, with immense pleasure, I would like to introduce to you today's honorable speaker, Dr. Saurav Gupta. Speaking about Sir, he is a technical business development manager, Pharma India, Japan, and South Korea, Ashland India Private Limited. His current job profile is he is developing new business opportunities in India, Japan, and South Korea, meeting new business targets for India, Japan, and Korea, coordinating with Hyderabad R&D lab for technical support to pharma customers, delivering technical presentations to customers, distributors, and sales team. Talking about his professional experiences, he has an 11 years of research experience in formulation development. Currently, he is working as a technical business development manager, Pharma India, Japan, and Korea in formulation research and development, Ashland Inc., Mumbai since 5th May 2020. Previously, he worked as a pharma technical service expert in formulation R&D, Ashland Inc., Hyderabad. He worked as a research scientist, 1 group leader in formulation R&D, Unichem Laboratories, Goa. Previously worked as a research scientist in formulation R&D, IPCA Laboratories Limited, Mumbai, India. And he also worked as a senior research fellow for ICMR, New Delhi at JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty. He has filed formulation patent for rheumatoid arthritis treatment, patent number 2842/MUM/2015 on 27th July 2015. He has been granted US patent number US 100348882 tofacitinib orally disintegrating tablets, published on 31st July 2018. Sir has bagged many awards, amongst which there is he has been awarded the Solver and Ashland's Global Leadership Team for distinct ability to troubleshoot situations by thinking out of the box and completing 2 projects within stringent timeline on 19th October 2016. He has also been awarded Certificate of Appreciation for contribution and commitment towards excellence for the year 2012-13 by Unicom Labs, Goa. He received award of Senior Research Fellowship, Indian Council of Medical Research, New Delhi. He has also been awarded by Nagai Foundation, Tokyo, Japan, for oral presentation in Asian Federation for Pharmaceutical Sciences 2009 on 16th October 2009. He's been awarded International Travel Grant from Department of Biotechnology, Government of India for attending AFPS 2009 at Fukuoka, Japan from 15th to 18th October 2009. He has many international and national publications, and he has uh, published two international publications and presented a research paper, including four international and 10 national. Sir, I'd like to hand over the mic to you.
Uh,
Sir,
Good morning.
you can,
Yeah, please.
right. Sir, you can share your presentation now.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Ruma madam, for your nice introduction about me. Let me know, is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So today I'm going to discuss about the influence of binder on tableting properties. In today's presentation, we will cover what is about our pharma market, which dosage form is main contributing to the pharma formulations, what are different manufacturing processes for tablets. Then we will go through portfolio of Ashland. Then I will share about the considerations which should be considered for binder selection, and we will go through some case studies for direct compression, dry granulation, as well as for wet granulation. And then I will conclude presentation with the
Presentation
uh,
with
hello.
Hello, yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Then I will conclude this presentation with the binder selection decision tree based on our experience. So it will help you to understand that which binder you should select based on the manufacturing process, based on the properties of API. So if you see market contribution for different route of administration formulations, then you can see that most of the formulations, around 68%, belongs to oral drug delivery system. Next to oral drug delivery, 21% belongs to injectables, and then topical and other formulations. So coming to oral formulations, as you can see that, if we cover doses form wise, then around 50% of market uh, covered by tablet formulations. So tablet formulations are very important when we see in global pharma market. So coming to tablet formulations, there are mainly three manufacturing process. Uh, one is wet granulation, dry granulation, and direct compression. And it depends on the API properties, on the on their flow properties, their compressibility, that which manufacturing process we need to select. Coming to performance studies for physical tablet properties, there are three important characteristics, three important parameters which we need to see, which are hardness, friability, disintegration. I'm not covering dissolution, stability, because those are chemical parameters. So basically, these are three physical parameters for which binder is very important, and binder plays an important role. Then coming to dissolution release profile, there are two types of tablet formulations. One is immediate release, another is modified release. Modified release covers delayed release, sustained release, control release. So here are the few mechanical properties on which we need to decide whether we need to manufacture product by wet granulation, dry granulation, or direct compression. So it all depends on the mechanical properties of the blend, of the API. Uh, if it is having, excellent compressibility, it is having excellent flow, then naturally we can go with direct compression. But if its flow is not good, then to improve the blend flow, we need to do granulation. And in that, we need to see whether API is having good compressibility or not. If API is having very poor compressibility, then we need to see that which binder we need to select, uh, and whether we need to do wet granulation or dry granulation. So coming to different manufacturing processes, this is first step, which is dispensing. Then first of all, I will cover wet granulation, which is most commonly used manufacturing process. So after dispensing, we do dry mixing, then we do wet granulation. So wet granulation can be done in two ways. Either you make a binder solution and do granulation, or else you can use binder as a dry binder. You can mix binder in the dry mix and do granulation only with water. Then after granulation, we need to do drying, which can be done in fluid bed dryer, followed by milling to get the uniform granules. Then we need to add extra granularly disintegrant, or finally we need to do lubrication with magnesium stearate or SSF, whichever you want to use, and we can compress a tablet. So this is very long process, right? uh, there is another manufacturing process where you can skip all these manufacturing process, uh, and after dry mixing you can just do dry granulation, and then you can do milling, followed by lubrication. Then there is another manufacturing process where again you can minimize the manufacturing steps. So after mixing directly you can do compression, which is known as direct compression. So coming to all these manufacturing process, direct compression is the, you know is the most less time consuming manufacturing process, where you need to use less equipments. So it is always preferable by pharma industry to use direct compression, but it is not always possible to manufacture tablet with direct compression. That's why we are going with the dry granulation or wet granulation wherever it is not possible. So coming to tablet formulation, what it contains? It contains API, active pharmaceutical ingredient, then it contains filler, which is diluent, contains disintegrant to break the tablet when it comes in contact with the aqueous media in body. Then binder is very very critical, because it has to keep tablet bind, it has to keep granules together to make a strong tablet, so that it should not break before it should be dispensed to the final user. Then glidant we add to improve the flow of the blend, and finally lubricant to avoid the sticking of the blend to the punch dies. So coming to blend when we compress it, so how blend changes its form. So you can see on x-axis this is applied force, and on y-axis this is bulk density. So when blend comes in the die, we applied pressure. So basically because of applying pressure, that blend become dense, And finally, there is a elastic deformation followed by brittle fracture, and then plastic deformation. So these are the different steps which comes while making a tablet. So what is binder? Binder is the most, it is having most critical function which keeps blend together in compressed form. So coming to granulation scenario and its critical material attributes. So in wet granulation, we can do wet granulation with three different processes. One is high shear, which we can do by rapid mixer granulator, which is also known as RMG. Uh, we can do granulation with low shear. Low shear means we can do granulation in fluid bed granulator, FBP. And then twin screw granulation. Twin screw granulation we can do in hot melt extruder, which is also nowadays used for continuous manufacturing. And then here are the critical material attributes for where we are using dry binder and doing granulation with water or organic solvent. And then for wet binder, where we are dissolving binder in the solvent and doing granulation. So coming to wet binder, viscosity of binder solution, surface tension of the binder solution are very critical. And when we are using a dry binder, then particle size of the binder is very important. Then water uptake, its surface tension and mechanical properties. Coming to dry granulation we can do in two ways. One is roller compaction, uh, and second one is slugging. Slugging is like you can make a bigger tablet with less thickness and then you can mill it. So that is called slugging. So these both manufacturing process are used in pharma industry. So their critical material attribute is particle size of the binder and mechanical properties of the binder. And same thing with direct compression. There also, because we are using a dry binder, so particle size of binder and mechanical properties are very critical. Coming to Ashland portfolio, we have a diversified portfolio which includes, all the critical ingredients which are used for tablet doses form. We have binders, we have release modifiers for control release formulations, we have disintegrant, we have solubilizers, we have polymers which are used to stabilize amorphous solid dispersion. We have cyclodextrins, which can be used for complexation to increase the solubility. And then we have film coating material, which can be used to coat tablet, both functional coating as well as non-functional coating. So coming to different products which we have in different buckets. Uh, Coming to binder portfolio, we have povidone, copovidone, hydroxypropyl cellulose, which comes with the brand name of Glucel. We have ethyl cellulose, we have sodium CMC, we have methyl cellulose, HPMC. So we have a wide portfolio of binders. So that's why we have comparative study where we can help you in to decide when you are working with any product, which binder may give you better binding property, which binder may give you stronger tablet. So in disintegrants we have cross povidone, in solubilizers we have cyclodextrins, uh, and also we have copovidone, which is used for amorphous solid dispersion. Coming to release modifiers, means polymers which can be used to extend the release. We have HPMC, we have methyl cellulose, CMC, we have ethyl cellulose, we have hydroxy ethyl cellulose, which is highly hydrophilic polymer. Then coming to our binder portfolio, you can see here we have Klucel HPC, we have Plasdone Povidone, Benecil methyl cellulose, Equilon ethyl cellulose, and Plasdone S630 copovidone. So basically, how these products vary in their properties and how we manufacture these products. So as you can see here, this is a cellulose chain, and it consists of many, many rings. And if you consider one ring here, it consists of three hydroxy groups. Hydroxy groups means OH groups, which are highlighted with red color. So basically, we substitute these hydroxy groups with the mentioned substituents. And when we substitute these hydroxy group with the mentioned substituents, we get mentioned products. Suppose we substitute this hydroxy group with propylene oxide, then we get a Klucel, Klucel HPC. If we substitute hydroxy group with ethyl chloride, we get Equilon ethyl cellulose. So because of properties of substituents, we get products with different properties, different hydrophilicity. So this is a scale where we mentioned about the hydrophilicity and hydrophobicity. Hydrophilicity means polymer which is soluble in water. Hydrophobicity means it is insoluble in water. So coming to green side, are the polymers which are highly soluble in water or which are highly hydrophilic, like sodium CMC and nitrosol hydroxyethyl cellulose. And coming to red side, we have polymer like Equilon ethyl cellulose, which is insoluble in water, which is highly hydrophobic. And then we have HPMC, Benecel HPMC and Klucel HPC, which are having both hydrophilicity and hydrophobicity. So basically, these polymers are soluble in water as well as in organic solvents. So here are the different grades which we have available in with different products. So coming to HPMC, we have two types of HPMC. One is 2910 and another one is 2208, which is also known as K type. So what is difference between E types and K types? Is difference is between the substitution of methoxy group and hydroxypropyl group. So methoxy group is hydrophobic, which makes polymer insoluble, and hydroxypropyl group is hydrophilic, which makes polymer soluble in water. So here, first two numbers of HPMC like 2208, for example, if you take, so the 22 tells us about the substitution of methoxy group. So here you can see that methoxy group substitution is between 20 to 24. So 22 is the mean of, it comes between 20 and 24. And 208 tells us about the substitution of hydroxypropyl group, which comes between 7 to 12. So, you can see that substitution of methoxy group, which is hydrophobic group, is less in 2208. So that's why this 2208 are more soluble in water. These are more hydrophilic when compared with 2910, because 22 is smaller than 29, 22 is smaller than 29. So that's why you can clearly understand that methoxy substitution is less in 2208. So that's why it should be less. It should be it should be more hydrophilic. Coming to methyl cellulose, there is no hydroxypropyl substitution, so that's why it is less hydrophilic. Then coming to ethyl cellulose, then we have different different grades with different molecular weight. Out of those, we have a special grade T10, which is specially designed for tableting purpose, because it is having better flow and better compressibility then normal grades. Then we have Povidone, which comes with the brand name of Plasdone. Uh, we have K25, K2932, and K90, which varies in molecular weight and viscosity. This is an excellent polymer for water soluble APIs. Then we have Plasdone S630, which is also known as Copovidone. So here you can see there is an additional vinyl acetate uh, substitution which reduces the TG. TG means glass transition temperature and add hydrophobicity to the polymer. So again, like povidone, copovidone works very good with water soluble APIs, and also it is also recommended to use for dry granulation or direct compression. Then coming to Klucel hydroxypropyl cellulose. This is a very good binder. It comes with different grades which varies in their molecular weight. So out of all these grades, lower molecular weight grades like EF and LF, these are highly recommended as a binder. ELF is mainly used for coatings, and high molecular weight like from JF to HF, these are used for extended release formulation, or you can say hydroalcoholic gel formulation. And as it is having solubility both in water as well as in organic solvents, so these grades, these product can be used for aqueous as well as hydroalcoholic gels. Then you may be thinking that we have EF and then we also have EXF, which are with the same molecular weight. So basically, what is difference between EF and EXF? So wherever you can see X, so X tells us about the finer particle size grade. So you can see down regular grade D50 is from 250 to 300 micron. However, finer grade D50 is between 50 to 80 micron. And recently, we also launched Klucel EXF Ultra, which is ultra fine grade, which is having 1/3 particle size of finer grade. So when we should use regular grade and when we should use finer grade. So whenever you are using a dry binder, either you are doing a dry granulation, direct compression, or you are doing a wet granulation where you are adding binder in the dry mix and doing granulation with water. So their particle size is very important and you can use finer grade. But if you are making a binder solution and you are doing granulation with water, so because you are making a binder solution, you are going to dissolve it. So their particle size is not important when it comes to product performance. So there you can use regular grade like EF or LF. So these are the considerations which you need to concentrate before selecting any binder for your tablet formulation. One is mechanical properties of the polymer. So whether this polymer is plastic or elastic, how is the plasticity, how is the toughness of the polymer, then stability and incompatibility with API, particle size and molecular weight of the polymer. This I will show you in coming slides how particle size and molecular weight is impacting on the compactability and product performance. And then if you are doing dry processing like direct compression or dry granulation, their particle size is very important. So impact of particle size, as finer grades having larger surface area, it is capable to bind tablet more strongly than coarser particle size binder. Then if you are doing wet granulation, then binder drug surface interaction is very critical. So their API hydrophilicity or API log P is very important to select the binder. then type of solvent, and then solid level of the binder, and which solvent you are using. You are dissolving it in water or organic solvent. Then regulatory acceptance and use level, that how much concentration you have to use. So basically this is one example where you can understand the plasticity, or you can understand the toughness of the binder. So what we have done, we made a round tablet of pure polymer. So you can see this first tablet, round tablet, it is 100% Glucel HPC without any other ingredient. And second tablet we compressed only with povidone, which is plasdone povidone. So we compressed two tablets of pure polymer, and then we compress tablet, like we do the hardness testing, like that we did study in the texture analyzer. So we compress tablet from two sides, uh, as you can see here. So what we observed, that this povidone tablet was cracked when it was compressed from both the two sides. However, this Clucel tablet, it was not break, but it changed its shape from circular to cylindrical. So I'll show you. So what we did, we have compressed tablet from, like we do hardness tester, right? So we compressed from two sides, and what happened, because of this force, this tablet shape was changed from round to capsule shape. So then we have measured this distance, how much how much distance this tablet traveled, because before, without breaking. So that distance we have measured on x-axis. You can see, on x-axis there is a rating where we mentioned in mm, in millimeter, 0.5, 1.5, and on y-axis we have measured the force, that when we compress pure polymer tablet, whether it was cracked, or it was, it changed its shape. So we have observed that all binders tablets were cracked. However, tablet of Glucel, it was not cracked, and it changed its shape from round to cylindrical. So it tells us about the flexibility it can give to the tablet, that it is the toughest binder, and we cannot compare its performance with the other binders. Uh, so that's why, based on this study, we can conclude that this glue cell gives us stronger tablet when we are doing dry processing, dry granulation, or dry direct compression. But these all are theoretical. Let me show you practically, when we manufacture tablet with different binders, how much hardness we are getting with different binders. So this is about the peroxide content, which we can see in different binders. So peroxide level means when if it trigger hydrolysis, oxidation. So basically, if your API, your drug is sensitive to peroxides, in those cases we always recommend to use binder which or other ingredients which should have low peroxide level. So if you compare peroxide levels, then Glucel is having much lesser. It is negligible, around 4 ppm we observed when we compared with the povidones, plasdone povidone or copovidone. You can see that this peroxide level is very high when we compared with Glucel. So we can say that it can give a better stability to the product. So coming to different molecular weights, as we discussed earlier, that Glucel is available with different molecular weights. We have low molecular weight grade, we have high molecular weight grade. So which one you should recommend? As I mentioned that we recommend to use lower molecular weight binder. Uh, so this is what we have done. We made a tablet where we have used 5% concentration of binder. In one batch we have used Klucel EXF, and another batch we have used Klucel HXF, which is high molecular weight grade. And we compress tablet at different compression force, uh, ranging from 5 uh, megapascal to around 40 megapascal. And then we check the tablet hardness at different tablets which were compressed at different compression force. And we observed that tablet which is with blue color, tablet with Klucel EXF were harder, were stronger at all the compression force when compared with the tablet containing high viscosity, high molecular weight, which is EXF. So with this study, we can understand that lower viscosity grades or lower molecular weight grades gives you better hardness. So that's why EXF and LXF, these are the most recommended binders for tablets. Now another thing is particle size. So when if so what we have done, we manufacture two batches. One batch with EXF, which is finer grade, another batch with EF, which is regular grade. And we compress tablet at different compression force, and we check the tablet hardness. So at all the compression force, we found that tablet containing finer grade, which is EXF, gives the better compressibility, so better hardness. So so it clearly tells us that if we use finer grade, we can get the better tablet hardness. Now, let us go through some case studies which belongs to different manufacturing process. So let us start with the direct compression, which is most preferable manufacturing process. So here what we have done, we have taken different binders. These are the properties which we have mentioned. And then uh, we have taken two APIs with different properties, with different physical and mechanical properties. So as you can see here, we have taken one lamivudine, which is having good compressibility, and we have taken acetoaminophene, which is also known as paracetamol, which is having poor, poor compactability and poor flow. So then what we have done, we made a tablets, we made a batch where we have used 80% lamivudine to get the effect of API properties. How if its concentration is more, then naturally its impact on, we can understand its impact on that tablet formulation. So we have taken 80% lamivudine, and then we have taken 5% binder. So what we have done, we blended API with diluent uh, and other ingredients. Then we lubricated it with magnesium citrate, and we compressed tablet of 500 mg. Similarly, in case of acetoaminophene, we have taken a 70% API. Again, binder concentration we have taken 5%, and blended in the same way which I explained. So then we have compressed tablet at different compression force and check the tablet hardness. So as you can see here, we get the stronger tablet with Klucel EXF at all the compression force. And next to Klucel EXF, we got a tablet hardness maximum with copovidone, which is S630 copovidone. But here you can see that there is a drop. There is a drop in the tablet hardness when we increase the compression force. So it tells us about the capping of the tablet. And coming to other binders uh, like povidone K2932, again it gives us good tablet, but hardness is lesser than copovidone and Klucel. and this is pure API without any binder. So basically, with this study, we can understand that when API is having good compressibility, uh, then we can get the better tablet hardness, best tablet hardness with Klucel, and next to Klucel we can get with Plastone, Copovidone. Now coming to acetoaminophen, which is next to which is having poor compressibility. So again, we compress tablets at different compression force, and we check the tablet hardness. Uh, and we found that tablets containing Klucel gives us the most strongest tablet at all the compression force. Especially, you can see the difference on the uh, tablets which were compressed at higher compression force, and there was no capping observed. So you can say that if you're, irrespective of API properties, whether it is hydrophilic or hydrophobic, whether it is compressible or, poor compressibility, if we are going with direct compression, then Klucel EXF gives us better hardness when compared with other binders. Similarly, in case of friability, since tablet hardness is more, so that's why you can see that tablets with Klucel EXF gives us the lesser friability. So hardness is more and friability is less. Then coming to next manufacturing process, which is dry granulation. Uh, Here, what we have done, we have taken a model API metformin, which is having poor flow and poor compressibility, and we have taken different binders, and we have taken this formula where we have taken 76% of metformin, and we have taken 8% binder. So what we did, we blended metformin with diluent, which is mannitol, and binder, and then after blending, we lubricated it with magnesium stearate and passed it through roller compaction, and after milling, we compressed it into tablet. So again, we compress tablet at different compression force and check the tablet hardness, and we found that tablet containing Klucel EXF gives us the stronger tablet, and next to Klucel EXF, we got the stronger tablet with Copovidone. Uh, as we have seen that tablets containing Klucel gives us the stronger tablet, so that's why it is also reflecting in terms of friability. We get the lesser friability with the Klucel EXF followed by Copovidone. So you can see that with the at a higher compression force, friability with the Klucel were much lesser when we compared with other binders. Coming to wet granulation, wet granulation it is uh, different from dry processing, because here viscosity of the binder solution is very important, is very critical. It should not be more viscous, so that you cannot you may not be able to uh, pour it properly in the dry mix during granulation, and it will not able to hydrate blend if its viscosity is too high. And then surface tension, surface interaction, that is also very critical. If it is not proper, then it will not not bind with the blend. And then mechanical properties, toughness, plasticity, these are also very critical. And again, if you are using a dry binder and doing granulation with water, in that case particle size is very important. So what happens, because if your if viscosity is very high, or if your surface tension is not it is not able to hydrate your blend, So then it will give the poor wettability. But if your all considerations which you have taken for binder selection, if it is proper, then it will able to wet the blend, as per desired. Then these are the viscosities actually, what we have mentioned here, that if your solution should be pourable, then your viscosity should be less than 300 megapascals. So coming to viscosity, here we have a advantage with povidone and copovidone. It is having lesser viscosity when we compare with Klucel. Uh, Lucel EXF. So here what we have on x-axis, you can see different concentrations, and on y-axis you can see the viscosity. So we have mentioned, different concentration, like for 5%, for 10%, for 15%. So up to, you can say, up to 10%, you know uh, all binders can be used. Like we can use Klucel 10% binder solution, and this copovidone can be used more than 15%, because its viscosity is much lesser than Klucel. But coming to Klucel, there is a advantage of particle size, that instead of making a binder solution, you can use a finer grade. You can mix it in the dry mix and do granulation with water. Because when we make a binder solution for lab scale, it is different from the binder solution which we make in the production level, because that quantity is too high and there are chances of lump formation. So it is always recommended to use dry binder and do granulation with water, because you can reduce one manufacturing step of the formulation in production. So here we have taken four different APIs with the different log P. Log P tells us about the lipophilicity of the API. So we have taken metformin, which is highly soluble, and we have taken simvastatin, which is uh, low soluble API, having log P of 4.68. And then we have taken API like albendazole and efavirenz, which is having in between hydrophilicity between metformin and simvastatin. So we have taken batch where we used 80% API and 5% binder. So how we have manufactured these batches is, we blended API with diluent, which is lactose, and binder. Then we did granulation with water. Did after granulation, we milled granules with 1 mm screen to get the uniform granules. Blended it with the extra granularly with the disintegrant, and lubricated with magnesium stearate, and compressed 500 mg tablet with using 11 mm round punch. So we compress tablets at different compression force and check the tablet hardness. You can see that we got the stronger tablet with uh, povidone, K2932, and copovidone S630. However, with Klucel, we got the lesser tablet hardness when we compared with povidone or copovidone. So we can say that when API is highly soluble, in that case, we can get the stronger tablet with povidone or copovidone. Again, this is about friability. We got friability. If you see, from 10 tablets compressed at from 10 uh, kilonewton to 25 kilonewton, uh, we got lesser tablet hard friability in case of povidone and copovidone, because tablet hardness is more. So it is same, which we can see in compressibility plot. It is reflecting in terms of friability. So stronger the tablet, lesser the friability. Coming to albendazole, which is lesser hydrophilic or lesser soluble than metformin. Here you can see that we got the stronger tablet with Klucel, and next to Klucel we got with copovidone, but there is a capping at 10 kilonewton. However, with Glucel, we did not find any capping in the tablet. Coming to povidone, we got tablet hardness lesser than tablets with Glucel or copovidone. So we can say that as API solubility is decreasing, as we are going towards low solubility API, there Glucel is working better than povidone. Then coming to efavirenz, which is again low soluble than simvastatin, we found that tablets are stronger with Glucel and then with copovidone and then with povidone. Then coming to simvastatin, which is highly hydrophobic API, low soluble API. So there we got a significant difference with Glucel and other binders. So it clearly tells us that if API is low soluble, then we should use Glucel as a binder, because this is having both hydrophilicity and hydrophobicity, and it is having better toughness. So it gives the stronger tablet when compared with other binders. So this is our study based on this wet wet granulation case study. We have used different APIs with different log Ps. We have used different binders. And then you can see with HPC we got lesser hardness with in case of metformin, but as we are going from from highly soluble API to low soluble API, then we are getting the significant increase in the tablet hardness. So as you can see here, so if API is low soluble, we should use Glucel. If API is highly soluble, we should use povidone. So this is our decision tree based on our experience. If you are doing dry granulation, we recommend you to use Glucel EXF. If you cannot use EXF because of some patent issue or because of some compatibility issue, then you can use copovidone. We also have finer grade of EXF, which is Glucel EXF Ultra. It works much better than EXF because of finer particle size. So that is our first recommendation. Coming to wet granulation, there we need to consider about the log P of the API, whether API is hydrophilic or hydrophobic. So if your API is hydrophilic, then we recommend to use povidone or copovidone. If API is hydrophobic, then we recommend to use Glucel EXF or EF, or you can use LXF or LF. If you are doing if you are mixing binder with the dry mix, you use finer grade. If you are making a binder solution, use regular grade, which is EF or LF. If your API is having medium hydrophobicity, then you can use any of the binder you can select based on the performance. So that's it from my side. Thank you. Now I'm waiting for your questions.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for such an elaborative explanation of the various properties of binders and its effect on tablets. Thank you so much. So, now, with your permission, we would like to move to question and answer session. So, I request all the participants to put their questions in the chat box, and we have already got a few questions. Hello.
Great. Yeah, that's good. Please let me know the questions so that I can answer.
Right. So, someone asked to know Which property of binder influence hardness of tablet?
Yeah. So properties of binder which influence the hardness of the tablet is its toughness, its plasticity, when manufacturing process is dry processing like direct compression or dry granulation. Uh, so, uh, so basically, you can see that those properties are, uh, you can say, your plasticity, toughness, and also the particle size, which is also very important. And when you are doing wet granulation, there its hydrophilicity, or you can say, surface tension, that is also very important, because
Right,
of
sir.
which we have seen that when API log P, we have taken API with different log P's, we got different, performance of the binder. So if your API is soluble, we got better performance with Povidone. When API is low soluble, we got better performance with Glucel.
Right, sir. The next question is, if the friability is more, then how to overcome that problem?
So if friability is more, then it means your tablet is not stronger. So you need to improve the tablet strength. So how you can do that? Uh, One thing is your binder may not be proper. You need to change your binder, or else you need to uh, increase the binder concentration, or your manufacturing process you need to change. Or if you are using a regular grade, you can you regular particle size, then you may need to go with finer particle size.
How to optimize the concentration of the binder while making tablets?
Can I keep you for 1 minute on hold? There is one
Sure,
important
sure,
call. Yeah, just
sure.
for a minute. Sorry. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, please. Can you please repeat question?
Yes, sir. The how binder concentration is optimized while preparing tablets.
Yeah, this is for to optimize the binder concentration. Uh, if our binder is less, we may not get the stronger tablet. If our binder concentration is more, it will impact the disintegration or dissolution of the tablet. So we need to optimize binder concentration in such a way that it should not impact on the tablet disintegration or tablet dissolution, and at the same time it should also give the stronger tablet. So in that case, to optimize the binder concentration, generally based on industry experience, we recommend to use between 3 to 8% of binder. Uh, and then if we are not getting stronger tablet in this range, then naturally it means our binder selection is not proper and we need to change the binder or its grade.
Right, sir. The next question is, why some binders gives strong binding efficacy and why some binders uh, gives less efficacy?
Yeah, so this we have seen in our case studies, that when we are using different binders or different manufacturing process or working with different kind of API, we got the different performance. For example, in case of Clucell, we have seen that in case of direct compression, dry granulation, and wet granulation with low soluble API, it works very well. It gives us the stronger tablet. While we were working with wet granulation with highly soluble API, then we did not get good performance with Clucell. We got better performance with povidone. So it all depends on the manufacturing process, your type of API. So it varies from product to product.
Right, sir. Okay, sir, and why dry compression is more preferable than wet compression?
Pardon?
So why dry compression is more preferred than a wet compression?
Okay, uh, if if I tell you, if you have to go to some store, and there are two ways. One is half kilometer, and another one is 15 kilometers. So which way you will prefer?
Obviously, the shortcut.
Shortcut, right? So when it comes to production, time is money. So if you are able to manufacture product in less time, then naturally you can give a better product to the company. You can save a lot of money for the company, and also you can you can make a product with cheaper price. So if you see the manufacturing process for direct compression, just you have to blend and you have to compress. So manufacturing process is manufacturing process steps is less, so you can manufacture product faster when you compare with other manufacturing process. So that's why direct compression is always preferable over other equipments. And moreover, your equipment's requirements are less. You don't need, you just need a blender and your compression machine. But if you are going with dry granulation or wet granulation, then naturally you need more equipments, more space, and more time to manufacture the same product.
True, sir. Sir, and we have one last question. That is how binder leads to capping of tablets.
Okay. So basically, when we compress tablet, we we as you increase the compression force, you will find that tablet hardness will be increasing. But in some cases, what you will observe that instead of hardness, instead of increasing hardness, you will find the reduction in the hardness. So those are because of capping. And capping are of two types. One is when you are doing compression. At the same time, you can see that your upper part or the lower part of the tablet, it is breaking into two parts. Or else sometimes we do not feel that there is a capping in the tablet, but when we do hardness, when we check the tablet hardness, then we observe that tablet is breaking into two parts, but at the same time its upper part or lower part is also separating from the tablet. So that is a capping of the tablet. And why it is happening is, it uh, if your binder is not proper, or if your binder concentration is not proper, then in those cases, we can see the capping.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you so much once again for taking out time out of your busy schedule and share the screen with us and taking out time for us. With this, I'd like to end up the session for today. But before that, I request Dr. Subhasis Devnath Sir, Principal of Royal School of Pharmacy, to give his concluding remarks.
Okay. Thank you, Runa madam. And first of all, good morning and namaskar to all the students and also the faculties, those who have joined for the session. I know it's a holiday for RGU, but then also all of you have joined in a good number. Also at the time 9:30 when most of the people won't wake up because it's a holiday, but all of you came. And I especially thank Dr. Saurabh, who was actually one of my mentor at JSS College of Pharmacy UT, and he have accepted our invitation and came here to present his beautiful talk, actually beautiful informative talk with us. I'm really very, very thankful because he was actually moving from Hyderabad. It is the time of Corona. His health was not good and he was shifting from Hyderabad to Mumbai because his company have promoted him and he is shifting from Hyderabad to Mumbai. And during this tough time also, he have accepted our invitation and giving such a wonderful presentation. And I was thinking during the question and answer round, I am especially seeing that one by one how Sir is explaining all the things with a detailed manner. And Sir told the time is money, so you can find out near about 1 hour of money he have spent for us. So it's really very interesting to listen from Sir, and we hope in future we can get some collaboration or some more seminar type of things, and we can see Sir physically in the Royal Global campus. And with this hope, I wish Sir all the best and good health. And I also wish you all a very wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much. And Royal Global of University, Guwahati is really very, very thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, and it was really great to give webinar to such a wonderful students, faculty members, and it's I will say that Subhashis is one of the most talented student of JSS College of Pharmacy, and it's always pleasure to to uh, to have to spend time with him and to his students. Uh, and I will be happy to to give webinars or to be there physically in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Would also like to have you physically here in our campus. We will definitely do that, sir. And with this, I'd like to end up today's session. And I wish you all a very good health. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rona madam. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Bye.